It's a Sarah Bartelli show. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the importance of body composition scanners and how they can be used in weight loss. Particularly, we're going to be talking about the InBody scanners today, okay? And on the screen right now is a image of the InBody scanner, and on the video it will be linked of a prior video that I've did on the clinic where I go, and in that video you can see me standing on that scanner, and that is what I get done where I go. And we are going to be looking at images of previous scans that I've done, and you will be able to see the different information that is obtained in these scans. And we're going to be going over all the details and how I find the information helpful and what I think, what value I feel that this information brings, okay? The number one reason why I love these scans is because I think that something that is not discussed enough with weight loss when the person particularly has a significant amount of weight to lose is the increased risk that these individuals have for eating disorders as well as body image issues at the end of this or during this weight loss, because it is a very slippery slope when you start losing significant amounts of weight and you start seeing the scale going down and getting obsessed with that number. And it's easy to stop seeing the health aspect of it and just being consumed with the number and just how your body looks. And I even found myself starting to slip into some of those thoughts. And that's when I really took value in the InBody scans more, because then I stopped caring as much about just the number on the scale and, you know, what the BMI says exactly. So if you are somebody, particularly women, who maybe if you have more muscle on you, where your BMI might be a little bit more, or the number on the scale might be a little bit more, it's good to keep that in check in your head, to realize that yes, you do have more muscle on you. And then also if you start strength training, to see that muscle on you and realize that you might have put on muscle that month, but you lost body fat and things like that. So those are the main things that I think that it's really important that you're not going to see on the scale. And, you know, people might tell you, oh, well, you know, keep in mind you might have put on muscle, but you're not seeing it. You're not seeing it in black and white on paper. And in these scans you are. So I think there's a ton of value that these add. As well, now these InBody, I know that some people will say a DEXA scan is more accurate. It probably is. I don't know how available those are. I don't know if you have access to it, great. I don't know how available those are. I'm sure that an InBody is probably good enough. I mean, if you're not a professional athlete or something like that, where you need that really, really accurate details, I'm sure that an InBody scan is accurate enough. I find it to be accurate enough. But yeah, so I just need something to see. I just like to see something in black and white on paper to see those results. So yes, very much. And the other part too is that it's nice to see too if you're experiencing an injury or something like that, where I had a double hip replacement, so you could definitely see it in the way my body composition was before my hip replacement, and now that I'm recovering and both my hips are better, now that I'm evening out and I'm building muscle back into my legs again. So that's good too, because if you might have had an injury on, you know, one side, you might be a little uneven as well. So now we're going to get into the scans, and we're going to be bringing up the images, and we're going to I'm going to be showing you my first scan from June of 2024 and my most recent scan, which was December 31st of just 2025. Okay, now here is my first weigh-in, and this was on June 3rd of 2024. And this was actually, as big of a number as that is, that was actually low for me at the time, because in the spring of 2024, I was actually weighing in at the doctor at 305 pounds. So that was a little bit lower for me at the time. And when I found out about this clinic that I'm going to, I was getting shots in my knee from an orthopedic doctor. And I mentioned to him of my predicament, saying, you know, obviously I know I need to lose weight, but I think I might go to a doctor to see about getting GLP-1s, because with my physical condition, when we thought it was my rheumatoid arthritis at the time, I was, you know, kind of in a pickle with that. And he was the one who told me about the functional medicine clinic. So I urge any of you guys that if you are open to talking about your weight struggle with anybody, mention it, because it's a difficult subject, and a lot of people, they might have information to help you or to share with you, but if they might not be comfortable bringing it up to you. So I would urge you that if you're open to talking about it, to mention it, because people, you know, once you open that and mention that, and you give the sign that you're open to talking about it, you might be given a lot of good information. So as we can see, 297.2 was my official weigh-in that day. 82.2 muscle mass, which I found out is actually really high. It's not high when you calculate what my muscle mass percentage was at the time with that weight. Then my body fat mass, that is a problem, 150.8. That put me at a 50% body fat percentage, and we'll get into that next. But now on this screen, because it doesn't, on the InBody, it doesn't give you a muscle mass percentage, but my muscle mass percentage was on the lower end for that body weight, as you can see. And the next screen will go over what the percentages are for average and low end and high ends, okay? Okay, next screen. Weigh-in as of December 31st, 2025. So weigh-in that day was 185.8 total weight. Muscle mass that day was 68.6. And then my body fat was 60.6. And yes, total, there was a little bit of muscle mass reduction since I've been doing this since 2024. But when you look at my total muscle mass percentage based on my body weight, it's actually gone up. And when you look at that total muscle mass in the beginning, if you look at that based on, let's say if I was to get to a weight of 160, that's not actually even realistic, because women, you're not going to see a woman unless you're with like really with a 50% muscle mass percentage. So as long as I'm staying within a normal muscle mass percentage, I'm happy with that, because the fact that I started out with so much muscle mass, my weight was so heavy, I'm pleased with that, with those results. And then we'll get into what the normal muscle mass percentages for women is, and then what my total muscle mass or what my muscle percentage lost is in the next couple screens here, okay? Next screen is going over the typical muscle mass averages for women, and this, it doesn't state, but this is for women muscle mass averages. And I'm in the 40 to 49-year-old range. So for my starting amount, I was on the lower range. And that was just based on how high my body weight was at the time. And now, with the weight reduction and keeping as much muscle as I did keep, now I'm off the charts in the higher range. So that's nice to know, to give you a good idea of where you're falling in these ranges. Now, the biggest gripe that I hear about GLP-1s is that people lose weight without really having to do anything on them. I don't know if that's true or not. One person actually admitted to me that they didn't do anything exercise and they lost weight. I don't know if that's the norm or not, but that's what I've heard. And I've seen some studies that some people lose a lot of muscle mass on them. I don't know. Maybe that's just if they're not exercising or not. But so let's talk about muscle mass and why it's important to try to not lose a lot of it when you're losing weight. Because I did a video about maintaining weight loss, how hard it is. Well, first off, because muscle mass has a big role in your metabolism and your basal metabolic rate. So it's important to keep your muscle mass as high as possible when losing weight, as well as other health issues like cardiovascular health. I saw it plays a role in, and lots of other things, and just daily living is important. So we're going to get into what my percentages is. I saw studies about when losing 100 pounds, I think it's typical to you can lose up into 20 to 30% of your total weight loss can be muscle mass. So I'm constantly keeping tabs on what my percentages of total muscle mass lost is. When looking at totals, so taking my starting weight of 297.2 and taking my weight as of December 31st, 185.8, that puts me at 111.4 pounds lost. So then if we take my muscle mass totals of 82.2 minus what my muscle mass as of December 31st was 68.6, that puts me at 13.6 pounds of muscle mass lost. And then if you take that 13.6 of muscle mass, divide that by my 111.4 pounds of total weight loss, that puts me at a 12.2% rate or percent of my weight being lost of being muscle mass. And considering the average being about 20 to 30% being the norm of weight being lost of being muscle, I am very pleased with my results that they're on the lower end. So I'm pleased with what I'm doing with my diet and with my strength training to keep my range being on the lower end. But it's something that you constantly have to keep monitoring. So that's why I like that I get these scans monthly to keep tabs on it. Next screen is going over the obesity analysis, where it gives you the BMI, which I don't find to be helpful. And the clinic that I go to, they don't even look at that. But what I use is the body fat percentage. And starting out, my number was very, very bad. It was 50.7%. And now today it is at 32.6. Next screen, this is so interesting to me. This goes over your lean body mass, and it goes over actually all your extremities and in like the trunk of your body as well. So the left side of the screen is going to be my starting one, and then the right side is going to be my most recent one. And it's interesting, you can see that I'm still above average in everything except my legs. And you can see that my left leg still has more mass in it than my right leg, because my right leg was the side that I most recently had my hip replacement on. So I'm still kind of catching up on that side still. So that is so interesting to me. I just find these to be so interesting. So just that's interesting. But yeah, so still above average, but not in my legs yet. Okay, now it's going to show where I am carrying fat in my extremities and my trunk, and then now the most current, how much fat I have in those locations now. And this is so crazy to me. As you can see, with having Cushing syndrome, where you carry your weight mostly is in your midsection. So a majority of my weight that I have to lose still is in my midsection. So you can see there, I'm still at 274% of what I'm supposed to have. So I still have quite a bit of weight to lose in my midsection. But what's crazy is the amount of fat that was in my legs to start with, and my arms, and what they're at now. You can see that, that's just so crazy, because when you're going through this, you look at your body every single day, you just don't see those changes every day. So to look at those numbers, it's just really mind-blowing. So that's interesting to see. next screen is a body water analysis that it gives on this scan. This section, to be honest, guys, is not something that I ever really look at because this is not an issue that I ever have. I did include it in the video because I figured for some people this is probably something that you'll be looking at and you'll probably find to be helpful. I think probably, what is it? I think if you have high blood pressure and different things, that different health conditions, you have to be concerned with your salt intake and things. So yeah, some people might find that to be very interesting, so I wanted to include it if you are one of those people that would find that interesting and helpful. Okay, moving on. The last screen, like I said, was not something that really impacts me and I found helpful, but the next one definitely is something that I look at and I find to be very helpful. It's the abdominal obesity analysis. And where everybody carries their weight is different, and it has different health risks. My body type, with having Cushing syndrome in the past, has me carrying a lot of my weight in my stomach area. Women frequently are described as either pear-shaped or apple-shaped, and I'm apple-shaped, and apple-shaped women, there's just so many more health risks because your body fat is around your organs, and that puts you at so much of a higher health risk, where sometimes apple-shaped women might be able to hide some of their weight easier in clothing than pear-shaped women, because pear-shaped women, it's more in their hips than their legs. But apple-shaped women are going to be at a higher health risk for different health conditions. So what these visceral fat levels meaning are, what they're interpreted as is the InBodies. You can get an interpretation guide to tell you what all these scores mean. And they say that your visceral fat level should be under 10, or that other score should be under 100. So you can see what my starting was. My starting score was atrocious, and now I am getting so very close to being under that critical score that I need to be under. So, and as you can see, guys, this is so good because it's keeping my focus on the fact, not just the number, that I'm getting my health to what it needs to be, that it's not just trying to make myself look beautiful. I mean, it was never about that. I mean, it was about my quality of life and my health, but I mean, I'm literally saving my life as I'm doing this, and every day that I'm doing this, I'm realizing that. And when I see these scores, it's reinforcing that I'm saving my life with what I'm doing here. So the visceral fat, this is huge, and for me, it's number one because that was where I carry my weight, and it's a huge health risk for me. So this screen probably is the number one reason why I love these scans, because I know that where I was carrying my weight was such a huge health risk for me. Okay, next part is based on the bars of what your weight is, your muscle mass, and then your body fat. It gives you a body type. And so for the first one, when I first started going there, that one is, of course, it's going to be the above average morbidly obese. And then my current one is above average I, and it's based out kind of the shape that the bars make. And I couldn't fit in the description, but I will read those to you guys, what it says. So the above average morbidly obese C type, it says above average morbid obese C type is characterized by weight, skeletal muscle mass, and body fat mass above the healthy range with an extremely high ratio of fat to muscle, which is known as morbid obesity. Morbid obesity increases the risk of fat-related chronic disease, and it is strongly recommended to reduce fat mass. Okay, so started out as that. On my last scan, it says now I'm above average I type, because again, that's how those bars are lined up. And I am at, I have more muscle mass on me now than I have fat mass. So now it says above average eye type is characterized by a balanced distribution of weight, skeletal muscle mass, and body fat mass above the healthy range. While muscles are well developed, it may not be sufficient to support the individual's current body weight. Therefore, it is recommended to reduce body fat mass. And yep, that's what I'm doing right now, trying to get down the body fat mass. And in my video where I went to the clinic, and I'm going to have that video linked, you can see the lady that I was in the room with. She's awesome, by the way. She was telling me that I think she said that with my body fat percentage being, I think, what is it right now? It's 32 point, I think it's like 32 point something. And I think she said that when I hit being below 32%, then I will go into the D type, and the D body type is kind of like the coveted body type on this type of scan. And I'll read to you what I will be when I hit that, which hopefully, fingers crossed, that will be next month. But when I hit that, if I'm the D body type, the above average D type, this is what that will say. Above average D type is characterized by weight and skeletal muscle mass above the healthy range and body fat mass above or within this range, with a high ratio of muscle to fat. This body type is typically very strong and robust and is commonly observed in athletes. Based on BMI, this body type is commonly misclassified as obese. However, this is not the case, as the excess weight is primarily due to muscle mass. Therefore, additional weight adjustment is not necessary. So that will be really cool when I get that on my InBody, although I'm still going to be attempting to adjust the weight, but you know what I mean, just to see that. That would be really, really cool. So that is what the body type classifications are, and it's just really cool because I like that it actually is supported more than just, you know, the BMI. It actually looks at the muscle mass and the body fat part of it. So I really like this screen, and I like looking at it, and to see how and there's other, I think I went from, yeah, it started out as, you know, the above average morbidly obese, and then I think I went to just like the normal obese, and then I went to the I, and then when I get to this D body type, it's kind of like I went through like the full range of the body type. So it was it's really cool just to see, you know, the changes that my body's gone through. So another cool part about this scan is that it gives your body an overall score of health based on the scan. And when I first started out, I got a score of 55, as you can see on the lower left. Sorry that it's not the exact same on each. This score was a little bit different when you go back in the history of it. It doesn't give you the exact same printout or screenshot capabilities, but I was a 55, and up on the top it gives you a breakdown of what the scoring means. And I wasn't able to find this but on this printout, but I did read that below a 60 they consider it to be a health risk, and I was a 55, guys, so not good. And then as you can see on the lower right, my score as of December 31st was an 84, so much better. And as you can see, same thing again, guys. I kind of went through the full gamut of the ranges where at 70 or less, they say indicating lacking muscle or being overweight, suggesting a need for exercise and diet control. And then I went through the 70 to 80, describes an average, reasonably healthy person. 70 to 85 refers to individuals who actively manage their diet and exercise. And then hopefully you guys, I'm 1 point away from being 85 plus, denotes someone who is usually very fit or has significant muscle mass. So it is beyond crazy to me that I started this being on the extreme side of the poor end of all of these scales, and now I'm, you know, like 1 point, or I'm so close to getting to the like the highest end of all of these things. It is so crazy, you guys. It just is the truth that, you know, if you set your mind to something, you can do anything. You know, haters might tell you that you can't, but don't listen to them. You can do anything. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Now, some of the fun stuff. All of the images that I'm showing you guys are screenshots from in the app. You can get a printout that gives you all of this information on one printed sheet, but to go over it with you guys, it was just easier to do screenshots from in the app and do it this way. And in the app, there is a ranking system, and these scanners are online, and you can see where you're ranking with other people around the country. And I just think it's really fun because, I'm 45, guys. There's days where, I'm feeling like, I feel my age sometimes. And it's just fun to kind of see where you are compared to other people your age and be like, you know what, I'm not doing half bad. So it's just fun. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to be seeing where I'm ranking compared to other women. And on the right side is going to be everybody. Men are included in there. So the top left is going to be for out of all women. I'm in the top 0.9% of all women. The lower left, I'm in the top 1% of females in my age group of 40 to 50. The top right, I'm in the top 6% of everybody that has gotten InBody scans. And this is for the week. They do new rankings every week. And since my last one was December 31st, I stay in the ranking until I get a new one. And then the lower right, I am in the top 4% and this is everybody in my age group. So top 4% of everybody in my age group, and that's factoring in the men. And I think the reason why it's adjusted so much is because they put a lot of weight in the muscle mass, and obviously men carry more muscle mass than women. So that's why I was so high in the female category, and it dropped a little bit when I went into the category with including men. But that's just fun. I like it. It's fun to look at. Now, after seeing these, what's all included in an InBody scan, if this is something that you're interested in, where can you get one? Well, in the description, I'm going to have it linked. There is a site that you can type in your zip code, and it's going to say find a scan near you. But when I put in the find a scan near me, since I'm in the US, it takes me to a US based browser. So I believe that if you are outside of the US, I believe that if you type in find an InBody scan near me, I believe it will bring you to a website that is in your area to find this. I can't, I believe, just because it's based on the fact that I am in the US. But now keep in mind that there's not like a standard set pricing for. It's not like InBody has these scanners at InBody facilities and there's a set amount of pricing across the board. You might find them at gyms. You might find them at like different health clinics. Basically, they could be at a wide variety of different facilities, and those facilities can set the pricing however they want for the scans. So an example is if it's at a gym, you're going to have to call them and find out what, some might require you to be a member, some might allow you to come in and get a scan and might just have a set fee for it. At the functional medicine place that I go, I believe you can come in and get a scan and they have a set fee if you're not a patient. And then I know somebody that I work with, they have a scanner at I can't remember the name of it. It's at a gym that she went to, and they had a set fee for it, and I don't know if you have to be a member or not. But also at the health club that I go to, where I work with Nancy, they have an InBody scanner. So I actually got a scan with Nancy when I first went with her, and then she found out that I was going to the Functional Medicine Institute and that I was getting the InBody scans there. So it's just, if you're going to be calling places, I would just check what the fee structure is and everything like that. So you're going to be getting the best deal, and if it's going to work with you, because if there's one maybe that the fee structure, the way they have it worked out, it works a little bit better for you, and it's maybe just a little bit more of a drive, I'd probably do that. So just make sure that you check that part of it, because it's all based on, the businesses that buy them, it's all however it works for their needs. They're buying it for their business, okay?
Inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come. This is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. Don't get too close. It's dark inside.